Hey, welcome back to the home of original sports perspective from our couch to yours. This is your host, Jermaine Lockett, and wow, what a way to lose yesterday. Ravens versus Steelers crushed me big time. I think it crushed a lot of Ravens Nation, mainly because the loss hurt double. The loss hurt double, y'all. And I'm talking about Fruit Punch, All Pro Marlowe. He gone. Gone for the season. Pectoral, shoulder, whatever you want to call it. He out. He gone. He not coming back. And it's tough. It's tough because, we didn't want to lose the game, but we also lost the game and we lost our second best corner right now because AA is playing lights out. He had a pretty solid game yesterday, other than that one give up on the touchdown. Marlowe ends up tearing his pectoral trying to make the tackle against Johnson on his second touchdown of the day. Just a very, very tough loss because now what is Baltimore going to do as far as corners go? Looks like Jimmy Smith, he was playing off, but Jimmy's game is to play press coverage and usher guys to the sideline. So you got to wonder, like, hey, what is Baltimore going to do now that all pro Marlowe is out? I want to see Jimmy get those reps, but he's got to be able to have the speed to keep up with some of these faster corners out there. And it doesn't look like it based off of the gameplay from yesterday. They just wanted him playing 10 yards off, but that is not Jimmy's game whatsoever. He needs to be comfortable and have some coverage over the top and be able to jam people and have that assurance of somebody being able to cover over the top. Man, it sucks. It sucks pretty bad because we didn't follow the game plan. The game plan that I predicted, there were a couple of things that I wanted to make sure that Baltimore did or was hoping that Baltimore was going to do was, they need to be able to utilize the speed on the outside. They utilize that speed on the outside. No, they necessarily didn't. And they should have been targeting Hollywood. They should have been targeting Bateman a little bit more. It just did not happen this game. Bateman got one target, 0 yards. Hollywood did not get as much as he should have. He got a decent amount of targets. I think it was across the middle of shorts. I think he should have got more deep shots coming his way. They did exactly what I told them not to do. Is they kept targeting Mandrews, and Mandrews showed up a little bit, but then towards the end of the game, when we needed him most, he didn't make the catches. He dropped. He dropped a couple of catches, big time catches that we needed in order to move those the sticks, and then of course to seal the W. The next thing was, on Lamar, did he unleash his speed? Did him and Devonta Freeman take it to the ground and do what they needed to do? No, because Lamar won. I think he went for 50-some yards, and I think Devonta Freeman averaged about 3.7 yards a carry. It's not what was needed. I think they need to do more. They need to do more on the ground. They need to trust themselves on the ground and control that clock. When they was doing that, they had one drive to where it went 10 minutes and 26 seconds, 16 plays, and they had I think it was a 92-yard drive. That was beautiful. That was what Baltimore needed to continue to do because it ended exactly how it needed to end. And they were destroying things on the ground. And then they got away from that, started passing, and just got ugly from there. Stay away from Minkah Fitzpatrick. Well, what happened? They targeted Andrews and they threw it across the middle and it got intercepted. So I was saying they can stay away from the middle of the field. That didn't happen. Next was stack the box and make Ben throw outside. Now they did actually stack the box and made Ben throw it outside, but those wide receivers over there in Pittsburgh, they're a whole nother breed. They're a whole nother animal. Deontay Johnson may be like third on the depth chart normally, but this dude is number one on the depth chart right now, above Claypool actually, and he's a very talented individual. And they just took advantage of what they had right there with his speed and his talent, and he was able to lace the Ravens for over 105 yards and I want to say 2 touchdowns. Just a good day for Johnson, bad day for us. I'm still hurting, folks. Still hurting, just crushed because all pros out. We got to figure out what that looks like going forward, how the Ravens are going to adjust. I know that Wink has to adjust his blitzes, and we're hoping that something comes out a little bit better against these Cleveland Browns now that we had to go back against Landry without all pro Marlowe. Shut down screen passes. You saw there were screen passes that happened. There were a few of them that Baltimore just could not take care of business as usual. The tackling was poor, and the Steelers just had a good, blocking wall to block those defenders coming up to get those screens rolling. It's crazy, right? All right, so now that we talked about that, let's talk about we lost the game. Ultimately, who's to blame? Who is to blame? When it comes to blaming people on the Ravens, you got to think about it. It's three pieces. There is the players, there are the coaches, right, and then the execution of those particular plays. If you don't have all three in sync, then there's a problem. There's a major problem, and right now, Giro had the plays. And I'm not saying this ain't none of Giro's fault. I'm saying, yes, there should have been better plays to uncover our wide receivers. But it comes down to when you are a wide receiver in the NFL, sometimes you got to break off those plays. You got to find the holes within those zones in order to make those plays. That way, Lamar is not holding on the ball forever. The other thing about that is the execution. Lamar used to be a guy who do one progression, two progression, and then he will bolt. Now he's doing pretty much all of his progressions, trying to see what is open across the field, and it caused the offensive line to be completely stressed. And TJ Watt and the Steelers defense had a heyday on Lamar as they got 7 sacks on the day. Oh my God, 7 whole sacks. It was painful. It's hurtful to watch this and it's not see Lamar just completely just have his jailbreak runs. We wanted to see Lamar go off. He should have been busting upfield the second he had that the second progression. It wasn't there. He should have been gone. But by that time, with Macari out, we have Phillips in, and it just really was tough for Lamar to get loose with that type of offensive line. So we're blaming this on players. We're blaming this on coaches. We're blaming this on execution. All 3 phases was wrong. That's what took the L. It's not just on the one drop pass or bad throw by Lamar, whichever side you want to look at it as, because some people are like, hey, that's a bad pass. Other people, it's like, well, man, just try to catch it with one hand, trying to be fancy. It failed either way. It dropped. It takes 2, baby. It takes 2, baby. It didn't happen. It did not happen. In fact, Ravens fans were so mad I lost 8 subscribers yesterday. That was crazy. But yeah, kidding. Just make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe, smack that bell. Let's go back into predictions and show you how wrong I was. This is absolutely insane here. Actually, number 5 here. Let's shut down today. Shut down the screen pass. I say so. It wasn't as big of a problem as it usually is. And they didn't have like the huge shot play of over 50 yards, but they did give up a big play on a deep crosser to Johnson. And then, of course, at the end of the game, closer towards the end of the game, the clutch touchdown. The Big Ben ended up getting off. Let's go. Before we jump into our predictions, let's check out the comments. Somebody commented this morning here. It's just P, kick the extra point. Simple, definitely bring it to overtime, but they just didn't have the corners, and I think they were afraid they were going to get beat big in overtime. But you can't, it's a 50-50. Baltimore could have got the ball back to start the overtime period. I'm with you. They could have kicked the extra point. Definitely believe that was a mistake on Harbaugh. I think, trying to play that riverboat Ron type of role there and go for 2, it just does not work out. Let's go over to predictions. Jackson gets his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. I was totally wrong on this. Now, Baltimore had it. They went for 2, and when the defense rushed up and was in Lamar Jackson's face before he threw that ball to Andrews. Now, I believe if Lamar had tucked it, and did a pump fake, tucked it, and ran, he would have got the yardage to get the touchdown. But, of course, we can do the coulda, woulda, shouldas on that. But he just did not get his touchdown on the day, and that would have just been a 2-point conversion point anyway. So I still would have been wrong. Totally wrong. I don't know what's up with me in these predictions lately. I've been off, way off. Pat Freeman gets a touchdown. I was wrong on that one. I thought for sure the chemistry between Big Ben and Freiermuth would be big enough for them to get a touchdown. I'm kind of glad he didn't, because it would have probably been even worse of a loss. But he did move some chains in there. They did have a pretty good connection, and Baltimore did whiff on a couple tackles with this guy. He's a tough some gun, and we got to deal with him for a while, whether we deal with Ben or not. Next, Odafe, Oweh, and Tyus Bowser, one sack each. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Could not get the pressure there. The only person that got a sack was Calais Campbell. What's up with that? I mean, Baltimore was sitting here dealing with a line that was missing a couple pieces. They're missing the left tackle from last year, because we got that left tackle now, and Alejandro Villanueva. I'm really chopping his name up. I feel terrible about it, but they were also missing a starting. I want to say it was a right guard. So should have been an opportunity to get through that line, but it just did not happen. I said I can't stay long today because I have to get dressed and go to work. But hey, look, we just did not get the sacks there. Pressure's got to get there. We got to get pressure before, especially with Jimmy not going to be able to cover as well on the back end. There's going to have to be somebody taken out of the line. Maybe you have to go with nickel formations in order to help Jimmy out. All right, prediction number 4. Queen whiffs on 2 tackles. He did on one. He did on 1 tackle. I had to go back and check it. I think he might have whiffed on a second one as well. But I think I got this one wrong as well. Our defense is definitely going to have to show up. They're going to have to show up and show out from here on out in order to secure this home field advantage for at least one playoff game. That would be nice. I don't know if we're going to be able to take that number 1 seed, especially after tonight. I mean, if you look at Buffalo, they haven't really faced big-time contenders, or they faced backup quarterbacks for at least 3 or 4 of their games. I don't think that they're going to be able to take down the Patriots tonight. If I am wrong, because I've been wrong on my predictions all week long, so you know what else is new. But it would be nice to see Buffalo beat the Patriots, and that way it keeps the AFC race for the number 1 spot still close. Because if the Patriots win tonight, they take a full game leap ahead of everybody else in the AFC. And we don't want to see that. Let's go back to the comments here. Probably Jimmy with that. Jimmy says, "What's happening, man? What's going on with you? Thanks for joining us this morning. That was the one thing I overlooked. Ben does not hold on to the ball long, and we helped him by not playing coverage. He gets rid of the ball so quick that our corners had no chance. There was one play where it's just like, I mean, it was a 2-step drop, and I mean, he threw it to the left side of the field, and Claypool was already in the air to bring this thing down. They knew exactly where they needed to be. It was an exceptional throw, an exceptional catch. Big Ben say he wants to retire, but honestly, if I'm a Steelers fan, and after seeing that game, I say, hey, you know what? That was a flash of goodness right there, a flash of greatness. You might want to stick around just for a little bit longer, but that's just me if I was a Steelers fan. But I'm not. I'm on the other side. I'm hoping that he retires and we get to look at something else besides Big Ben destroying us for years. Anyway, let's move on here to the 5th prediction, which I keep putting up here, and I'm just gonna stop putting it up here because he just ain't gonna get it. He ain't gonna get it. This dude got 1 target, not 1 catch, 1 target, and he did not get his touchdown. I don't know what's going on. They just don't recognize that they have a first-round pick who can catch 50-50 balls. That is a major miss right there. I think Lamar, overall, I think it was a tough performance by our guy. Really tough performance for our guy because of the fact that he's usually our cut and run guy. It's the second you go through that second progression, it's not there. He needs to bolt up field. He needs to get going. It needs to get running. And, it looks like whoever is in the X receiver position, which I kind of predicted last year, I was like, hey, Boykin is in that X receiver position, and it hurts the X receiver because of the fact that Lamar is not looking at that side of the field when he's going through his progressions, unless it's a design play to go to the X based off the RPO on a slant. But when it's not that X receiver kind of gets forgot about because of the way that the RPO is set up. So you have to look at the opportunities that are there for our guy, for our number 1 wide receiver, or our number 2 wide receiver, and get him the ball, because Bateman can't win some 50-50 balls. Hollywood should have gotten more involved in this game. It should not have been as close. Everybody kept talking about blowout. Now, one thing I did get right was that the Ravens and Steelers were mostly evenly matched. I mean, you see the final score was 19-20, and I believe that it wasn't going to be a blowout. From the jump, I knew it wasn't going to be a blowout because that's just the talent levels of both of these teams. It just wasn't there when you look at the overall skill level. We didn't have the talent level to be able to blow teams out, and neither did the Pittsburgh Steelers. But they did what they needed to do to get it done. They got the W on the day. We're going to be able to see them again, and hopefully we can get this W. Now we're going to move on to Cleveland. But before we do, I want to make sure I do my homework, make sure I get everything right as far as at least the study of the film and see what we're looking up against. I'll go look at the last tape, even though that game was painful as well. Baltimore needs to get this offense rolling, especially with the defense looking like it's going to be some shootout games. They got to be ready to have a high-powered, fired-up offense ready to rock, because the defense is not going to be able to hold it down as well as they could because All-Pro Marlowe is not there. Now, granted, like I said, he didn't have the best season. He didn't have a phenomenal season, but at the same time, he was shutting things down after they gave up that one our two big plays of the game. He helped shut things down on that end and helped Wink apply the pressure, helped Oweh get his sacks and Bowser get his sacks and Houston get his sacks because of the fact that he was holding on the back end. Not holding, but he was able to cover on the back end. Baltimore still got to just, figure out a way to make this happen. 8-4, but with the wheels basically falling off on this team, it's still not a bad record, but the team definitely is falling apart right now, and they got to find some answers. They need to find some answers, and we got to, sit there and look at some tape and figure out how we can help find those answers, at least from our perspective of what they need to do to get their life together. And no, unfortunately, as mad, as passionate as I was yesterday, I don't know if it still warrants a firing of a coach right now. Not Wink's job safe, Wink's safe, but Giro may be on a major hot seat because they need to change up the scheme. They got to change up the scheme and figure out, hey, how to get Lamar to do what he does best and not try to prove himself as a pocket passer. We know this guy can make some throws. We know this, but we know that he cannot sit there in the pocket and take these sacks with this offensive line. But that's what it boils down to. That's what we're going to get into on the very next show. Thanks for y'all coming through. I appreciate all three of y'all that are here. For those of you not watching live, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and smack the bell. We need all the subscribers we can get. We can get to 1,000. I think if we get to 1,000, I'll go ahead and do a raffle for those last 100 subscribers. Those people on there who, and actually, just do a raffle in general. We'll set something up. I'll let you know the details. We're like that for some gift cards, maybe something for Christmas. If we can get those 1,000 subscribers before Christmas rolls out, I'll make sure I put something together along those lines. But I appreciate y'all sticking with me. Thanks for coming through. I want y'all to have an amazing day. Try to hide from those Steelers fans, and don't be surprised if I have to put up a profile picture of me in a Steelers jersey because I lost a bet. So just keep that in mind. Y'all take care. Have a good one. Thanks for joining the home of Original Sports Perspective. This is your Couch Rider Raven. Like I said, RP for the season for Marlo. And y'all take care. Have a great day. Peace.